What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to today's edition of All Elite Review. And hey, look at that! I finally got my freaking haircut! Oh, thank God. So now I get to regrow it again. Still need to freaking shave though. But today I'm going to be reviewing a show from June the 10th, 2020, 34th episode of AEW Dynamite, which was a pretty damn good show, things considered. Unfortunately, we saw yet another injury in the women's division that's going to take a particular wrestler out for quite some time. We'll get to that when we get to it though. But let's go ahead and get into this and run right through it. The first match was FTR's debut, in-ring debut in All Elite Wrestling against the Butcher and the Blade. Chris Jericho joins for commentary for a little bit. So, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, as they're now known by, formerly the Revival. FTR, there you go. So highlights of this match, Dax was wearing red boots and Cash was wearing black boots. That's how I could tell them apart. Dax and the Blade exchanged some chops and elbows. FTR starts focusing on Blade's left arm. Cash fakes an injury to get a roll-up on Butcher. Cash hits a power slam counter on the Blade. Dax with a back suplex on the Blade and a basement dropkick on the Butcher. A swinging neck breaker on the Blade. A dragon screw on the Butcher, and then a brain buster on the Blade. This was like all in one fluid motion, just one then the other, one then the other. I mean, you can honestly see how good, you know, FTR really is. They say, oh, these guys are boring. Really, they watch with this freaking variety of moves that fucking Dax Harwood just opened up on. I mean, a back suplex, a basement dropkick, a swinging neck breaker, a dragon screw, and a brain buster, an actual brain buster, which was cool. FTR hits a double hanging DDT on the Butcher. This was mainly all, you know, FTR offensively. It was really Butcher and the Blade that was kind of boring on the offensive front. FTR hits a superplex flying splash on the Blade for a 2 count. The Butcher and the Blade hit a tornado catatonic for a 2 count, which was about the best move they did in this entire match. They went for their Blackheart finisher, but FTR counters with their move that was formerly known as the Shatter Machine, their flowing flapjack codebreaker combo that they now call the Goodnight Express. I guess they can't call it Shatter Machine anymore. On the Butcher, which was kind of botched. The Butcher didn't really jump into that really well. And then FTR hits a spiked pile driver on the Blade for a 3 count and the victory. Good opening match. I gave it 3.25 stars out of 5. Afterwards, Tony Schiavone interviews FTR, who says that AEW is the pinnacle of tag team wrestling. And then the Young Bucks come out, of course, and declare that, you know, they've been the pinnacle of tag team wrestling for the better part of a decade and a half. Paraphrasing here. And then the Butcher and the Blade attack the Young Bucks from behind, and then the Super Bad Death Squad, as they're called, not the Super Bad Squad, jump FTR. And then Omega and Hangman come out and clear the ring. So, quite the dynamic that we have here. Lots of great tag teams. I mean, FTR said that AEW is the pinnacle of tag team wrestling, and it's not a lie. I mean, when you look at AEW's tag team division, it is stacked. They have so many good tag teams, it's not even funny. Which is probably why they're probably they've been itching to get a trios championship in the works, because, you know, there's so many good tag teams, you know, and you know, you have some, you know, teaming up into trios like the Best Friends. Of course, you have Death Triangle. I mean, Jurassic Express. You know, there's so many good trios as well that, you know, they're thinking about, you know, doing a trios championship as well, which I would be fine with personally. But anywho, the Natural Nightmares are interviewed backstage, and they're told they're going to be getting a tag team championship match. Even though in my personal rankings they're only ranked number 10, in AEW's rankings they're ranked number 2. And you might be saying, well, why are they ranked number 2? And this is from some people that, you know, like to bitch and moan. all the fucking time for no good reason. Why are they ranked number 2? They've just beaten a bunch of jobber teams. They are 5-0. What other team besides the champions can say that right now? Think about that for a second. And basically Dustin tells QT to get, this whole alley thing out of his system and get his head in the game for the tag team title match next week against the Omega Cowboys of Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. So that'll be interesting to say the least. Turning the lights on because it's getting a little dark out here. Alright, so now we get to what I personally thought was the best and most well choreographed match of the night, which is really surprising to say, considering this was the women's tag match, and considering a couple of wrestlers who were in it. But they really pulled off this match really well. Number 5, Penelope Ford, and number 1, Nyla Rose, against the women's champion Hikaru Shida and number 2, Kris Statlander. So, right after that, Nyla and Penelope go after Shida and Kris at the start of the match. Kris basically takes Nyla and spears her into Ford. Kris hits a nice sliding drop kick on Nyla, only got 2 count though. Shida with a flying knee strike on Nyla in the corner. Rose hits a roaring lariat on Kris for a 2 count. And then they kind of do this double pump handle flip where Statlander tried to go for like a roundhouse kick on Nyla, but Nyla had her like a double pump handle. And she kind of does a flip out of it and hits her Pele kick, followed by a roaring elbow. Shida hangs forward on the top turnbuckle and hits a flying knee strike, and then hits a missile drop kick on Penelope Ford. Shida hits a suplex on Ford, only gets a 2 count. And then Shida and Statlander do a nice series of combinations, a double backbreaker, a running knee, and a standing moonsault on Ford, only gets a 2 count. Kris Statlander tries to go for a suplex on Ford, who counters it into a nice DDT for a 2 count. Statlander hits a roundhouse kick on Nyla, and then ducks a nice back roundhouse by Ford, which would have been nice if they would have connected, but Kris ducks under it. Tries to go for a lariat, but Ford hits her Matrix Stunner on Statlander. Shida hits her Rising Knee Strike on Ford, and then hits a Superplex on Nyla Rose, which allows Statlander to hit her Split Leg Scissors Kick on Nyla for a 2 count. And then Nyla hangs both Kris Statlander and Shida over the top rope, and hits a hanging flying knee drop on both of them, which looked really good. And then it looked like Nyla Rose and Penelope Ford were going to go for like a double team beast bomb of some sort, but Statlander pulls Ford off the apron, and Shida hits a 3 count knee strike on Nyla, and then hits a Falcon Arrow on Ford, only gets a 2 count. Shida tries to go for the 3 count knee strike, but Kip grabs Shida's leg. Kris Statlander hits Kip Sabian with a Tope Suicida, but if you notice, right before the camera cut away, when she hit the ground, she clutched, I think it was her left knee, and as it turned out, she tweeted this out on her official Twitter account, that she suffered a high-grade tear in her ACL, which will require surgery. So that's another star of the women's division going down due to a leg injury. First it was Britt Baker, and now it's Kris Statlander. Another wrestler that you could have built up into a star. Man, the women's division is just dropping like flies right now, despite how good this match was too. Not a big fan of the finish though, as Nyla tosses the belt into Ford, who hits Shida with it, and then hits her perfect plex and gets the 3 count and the win. And commentary, in particular Chris Jericho, said that because of the precedent that was set, because Penelope got the pinfall on Shida in a tag team match, that usually means that she's going to get a championship match because she pinned the champ. So that'll probably happen at Fyter Fest. I swear to God, if that happens and if Ford wins the championship at Fyter Fest, I'm going to throw something through my fucking TV. Because Penelope Ford is not that good of a wrestler. I mean, yeah, she had a great showing in this match, don't get me wrong, but her consistency is just not there. I'm not saying that she can't improve, but I just don't think that highly of her right now. Although she did have a good showing in this match. But this was definitely the best match of the show, believe it or not. At least in my opinion. I gave it 3.75 stars out of 5. And then afterwards there was a little video package with Darby Allin and Tony Hawk, with Darby trying to do like an ollie off of a ladder and kept missing it over and over again, and then he finally hit it. And then we had another Britt Baker role model video, you know, trying to keep her, you know, in the loop despite her leg injury. Although she'll be back at All Out. Kris Statlander, we're not entirely sure about. Next match was a trios match between the Inner Circle and the Best Friends. And much like the previous match, the Inner Circle go right after the Best Friends. Santana hits a big boot on Trent. Trent with a backdrop driver on Santana. The Best Friends hit their Soul Food half and half suplex combo on Ortiz. Trent hits a tope suicida on Hager. Chuck with a somersault plancha onto Prawn Powerful. Prawn Powerful hit a sit-out powerbomb slingshot PK combo on Chuck. Hager hits a Vader bomb on Chuck for a 2 count. Trent hits his step-up tornado DDT on Ortiz, and then Orange gets the hot tag. Hits a double Frankensteiner on Prawn Powerful, a tope suicida on Hager, a flying crossbody on Ortiz, and a satellite DDT on Santana. Hager hits a power slam counter on Orange, who's trying to go for his diving DDT, only gets a 2 count though. Best Friends try to go for their rising knee strike, sexy Chucky knee combo, but Hager counters with sexy Chucky knee with a lariat. Prawn Powerful hits their step up somersault splash on Orange. Goes for their street sweeper finisher, but Chuck pushes Santana off the turnbuckle onto Hager. And then Orange hits his little crucifix pin combo. It's called the Mousetrap apparently, and gets the 3 count and the victory. I gave this match 3.5 stars out of 5. Afterward, the Inner Circle attacks the Best Friends with Jericho coming down from commentary to join them. Attacks all the Best Friends with his baseball bat, and he also busts Orange wide open, and he also grabs like a bag of blood oranges. Ha 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 ha, get it? And basically starts hitting him with the blood oranges. And this led to the Best Friends basically challenging the Sex Gods because they wanted to basically whip their ass. And they agreed to put their #1 contendership on the line next week. So there's that. But good matches overall so far. Tony Schiavone was going to interview Billy Gunn at ringside, but MJF decides to interrupt proceedings. Says that he's been undefeated in AEW for over a year, and is wondering when he's going to get a championship match. Things almost get physical between the Guns, Wardlow, and MJF, which leads to a match between Billy Gunn and MJF on next week's Dynamite. The next match was kind of an okayish match. Sammy Guevara against Colt Cabana. Highlights of this match, Colt pushes Sammy's little tricycle off the stage, which I thought was pretty funny. Colt hits a head scissors takedown and an arm drag. Guevara hits a sky twister press. Colt hits a victory roll counter for a 2 count and counters Sammy's Samoan drop with a bionic elbow. Hits the flying apple and a misdirection splash for a 2 count. Hits a moonsault for a 2 count. Was looking for, I guess, an inverted Chicago skyline, but Guevara counters it into his inverted GTS that he calls the GTH and gets the 3 count and the victory. I gave this match 2.5 stars out of 5. Afterwards, the Dark Order comes out, complete with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. They're finally back after, you know, being stuck in Canada for the last couple months due to the Rona. Guevara grabs the microphone and says that this is his moment as Colt Cabana goes to the back, basically follows the Dark Order back there. Matt Hardy comes out and he says he sees young Matt Hardy and Guevara and does a matter-of-fact segment, which I thought was pretty cool. And then there's a video promo of Joey Janela at a bar, feeling like he's lost his way, feeling he's not as important in AEW at the moment. Sonny Kiss picks him up on a corner and like a nice little car that he has. And it said to be continued, so this will probably continue at some point. Colt Cabana enters Brody Lee's office at this point. And then backstage, Jon Moxley gets interviewed. And then saying that Taz has been running his mouth and he calls himself a miserable son of a bitch, which makes him so dangerous. Taz comes out and gets in his face, and then Brian Cage attacks Moxley from behind and throws them into a car's back window. So that match is going to be pretty crazy as well at Fyter Fest. Alright, now we get to our main event of the evening, which is for the AEW TNT Championship between Cody and Mark Quinn. Of course, this was Quinn's first ever singles match in AEW. 1 second. Okay. Check something. So highlights of the match: Quinn hit a nice standing moonsault for a 2 count. Cody with his layout uppercut. Quinn with a nice drop kick counter as Cody was trying to come off the rope with, I think, his disaster kick. Cody starts focusing on Quinn's injured leg. Puts him in a Romero Dragon Sleeper, which looked really nasty. Quinn goes for a springboard move but falls off the top rope due to the damage that his leg took, selling the injury. Quinn hit a nice Pele kick. Cody with a knee breaker puts Quinn on the top rope. Looks like he's going to go for his inverted superplex. But Quinn counters with an avalanche Shiranui, which looked really good. Hits a nice moonsault. Standing shooting star press for a 2 count, which looked really good. Then hit a very unique Asai DDT, where he countered out of Cody's suplex, kept him in like a neck breaker position, but then flipped backwards into like a DDT. That was pretty cool. Hits a nice Tope Con Hero and a Fosbury flop. Hits a 450 splash on the ramp, then goes for his top rope shooting star press, which Cody counters into. First, he countered it into like an ankle lock, and then transitioned it into a modified Indian Deathlock, and gets the submission win. So, still your TNT champion is Cody. And then Jake Hager comes down after the match, attacks Cody. Matt Hardy and Private Party come out, and the rest of, pretty much the rest of the Inner Circle minus Jericho come out, and there was this big brawl between Matt Hardy, Private Party, and Cody against the Inner Circle. Cody grabs a microphone and challenges Jake Hager to a TNT Championship match at Fyter Fest. There's still going to be a TNT Championship match next week because of Cody's open challenge. So we don't know if this is going to be challenging for the title yet. They said it could be anybody, so there you go. I gave the main event 3.5 stars out of 5. My final rating for this show, this was a damn good show. I'll give it a nice solid 7 out of 10. So that's going to do it for this edition of All Elite Review. Thank you very much for watching. Here are my updated personal rankings. And until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out. See you later. You better like and subscribe or face the consequences. You have been warned.